Aloha, welcome back to Adornment with Adrian. So, I'm doing the Favorite Chef 2026 competition, and one of the challenges is an Aloha challenge. And Kings Hawaiian is Hawaiian Rolls, of course, is a sponsor for this year's competition. So, and based on a Pacific Rim theme, we are doing an Aloha challenge. Okay, so I decided to do something that was a little savory and a little sweet. As you can see, my ingredients, I have ginger, soy sauce, brown sugar, honey, and then I have onions and peppers. And I have an egg. We're going to do like an egg wash and then dredge. I have a chicken breast. All right, so let's go ahead and incorporate our ginger, our honey, our soy sauce, and our brown sugar to make a glaze. All right, I'm incorporating this all together. All right, this is kind of a high temperature, and then I'm going to bring it down while I cook our chicken. I added in a small pat of butter as well. And so now we have our breadcrumbs for our chicken breast. All right, so I have flour, and then I have our breadcrumbs, and I'm going to mix those all together as you saw. So we're going to begin by sauteing our peppers and our onions. And then I have one egg that I beat and whipped up, and then it's time to coat our chicken breast. And then we're going to dredge it in our flour, okay, and breadcrumb mixture. But we're going to do it twice, okay? So we're going to coat our chicken breast again. Okay, so we coat it one time, back into the egg it goes, and back into the breadcrumbs it goes. The breadcrumbs have seasonings. They have onion powder, garlic powder, the peppers, the salt, the garlic, all of those things in that. And then I'm going to sprinkle, actually later on, I'll sprinkle the chicken breast with a little paprika, smoked sweet paprika as well. Okay, so we finished up with our coating for our chicken. We have our onions and our peppers that already been cooking down. And let's go ahead and add in our chicken to the pan. Our pan is nice and hot. We're going to saute and basically kind of fry this, pan fry it on both sides. So we have our chicken going. We're going to let that heat up. Our skillet's going to get a little hotter. And you see our glaze, all right? And so our chicken is cooking. So while we're frying up or pan frying up our chicken, it's time to go ahead and add in that sweet smoked paprika. Okay, this is going to give us a little flavor and smokiness as well as color to our chicken breast. You can see it's cooking up nicely. So beautiful. All right, so we have our chicken ready. It's cooking. We're going to go ahead. It's time to turn it over. Right, and so I don't want it to brown too much on the other side. Because this is a sweet and savory dish, we are going to be coating this, so we don't have to brown it too much, but we want it to have a nice crispiness. Okay, so when we actually add the glaze, our coating doesn't fall apart. All right, speaking of the glaze, all right, so as I said, we have our soy sauce, our honey, our brown sugar, our ginger, a little pat of butter, and I'm going to add a little water to this at the end. Now, not cold water, let's be clear, because of the consistency, it will siege. All right, anyway, so back to our chicken. All right, so you can see it's beautifully cooking. We have our chicken breast that's almost done. Right, it's almost time to plate up. Okay, a shout out to Kings Hawaiians, who is our sponsor, Kings Hawaiians Rolls. And so, instead of actually separating the rolls, I decided to use this as sliced bread, basically to make a sandwich. And I have some sriracha mayo that is absolutely delicious. I'm going to be coating both sides of our rolls or our bread. And like I said, I thought about making this into smaller pieces, but I just wanted to make one large sandwich. So our onions and our peppers are done. I'm going to go ahead and coat the bottom or cover the bottom with some of our onions and our peppers. Okay. And then from there, you can see the onions and the peppers, they caramelize. They, so beautifully taste so great. Okay, but then we're going to go ahead and we have that glaze, if you remember, and we're going to take our chicken, and I didn't drain it or anything. I'm just going to go ahead and coat it in our sauce, okay, and add it to our roll, which I'm doing here, or add it to our sliced bread. And from there, I am going to go ahead and cover again I'm going to cover our chicken with the rest of our sauteed onions and peppers. So delicious. Okay. And remember, so I actually made up a few sweet potato fries as well in the oven. But anyway, so we did have the sriracha mayo on both sides of the bread. We have our onions and our peppers, our glaze. So you can go ahead and add your top of the roll slice, I guess, onto our sandwich. But I'm going to go ahead and add some more of that beautiful sauce, that glaze, over the top of our sandwich. And then I'm going to go ahead and put the top of our bread back on. Remember, we have our sriracha mayo. And our sandwich is pretty much, a little mayonnaise too much on the side there. But anyway, our sandwich is pretty much ready to go. All right, I did make some sweet potato fries in the oven. And so, yeah. All right, Adorners. So if you would like, for the purpose of presentation, you can go ahead and brush the top of your rolls. You could spray it with a beautiful spray, avocado spray, or you could brush it with maybe a butter and garlic or honey glaze if you'd like. All right, to add a little shininess to the top of the rolls. As you can see here, that's kind of what I've done. And I really was pleased with the way this looked, and not only with the way it looked, but the way it tasted. The savory and the sweet was so delicious. I went and I was trying to figure out what. I talked to one of my friends, Mo, shout out to Mo, about this. I went through recipe ideas, and I was going to use pineapple, but I thought, and I love pineapple. I love pineapple, but so many people, I think, were doing pineapple, and I just didn't feel like I wanted to do that. And so I decided to do a savory and sweet. All right, so again, shout out to Kings Hawaiian Rolls for being a sponsor this year for Favorite Chef 2026. And I really enjoyed making this so much. And as always, thank you for joining me with Adornment with Adrienne. I am your girlfriend or your auntie of lifestyle and decor. And as always, instead of saying goodbye, I say saving hello for another time. Please be sure to click like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. And I am almost in the top 5 groups for Favorite Chef 2026. If you haven't voted for me, please do. I'll link my profile in the description. One free vote every day. And if you have been voting, I really appreciate you so much. And as always, see you in the next video. Saving hello.